Recording. All right, so this is our first live trading session of the week, June 30th, Forex League. As always, we're going to go over 10 plus pairs that we're looking at. Why we do this is because me and Nick pretty much are just trying to get ready for today, put out trades in the signal room, and just trade our own accounts as well. So Nick's going to start off with DXY as always, and we'll get into why in a second.
Yep, absolutely. So guys, this is DXY right here, this chart that you're seeing. And this is essentially the US dollar strength. And, it's always good to find out what the dollar is doing. Has anything changed? Is the trend still the same? Have we had any, major moves overnight? Because the dollar makes up for 80% of all trade. It's also considered the reserve currency of the world. So it's always good to kind of, stop in, see how USD is doing, check in, because a lot of the market is influenced directly by this movement. So first thing we can do, we're just gonna analyze this starting on a higher time frame. We want to establish sentiment. We can see that's clearly bullish, right? There's no contesting this. It's very, very bullish. You're getting higher highs, higher lows. Price action is moving upwards in this channel. Okay, so we have established sentiment, right? Now we want to see if anything's changed. Is anything hinting at a change from this bullish movement into the bears? Is there a transition happening? We want to understand pretty much if this is going to continue bullish or not, because that is going to again affect a lot of the market, especially the major pairs that we're trading. So we're still very much bullish here. We did find support at this monthly, which is probably the most key area. If price action broke through this monthly, this would definitely be a major shift to the downside, and this would be definitely more bears in the market than bulls, but we did see a bounce here. So our sentiment is going to remain bullish for the time being. So let's go ahead and drop to a 4-hour, kind of identify what's going on lower time frame, more recent price action. Is this reversing pretty strongly from this area, or is it going to continue down? So we actually see a bit of ranging happening here on the 4-hour, right between this level 97.7, right, and then 96.5. So you can just clearly see, and I say ranging because it's bouncing off of this 97.7 handle as resistance, bouncing off 96.5 as support, and so on and so on and so on. It's just bouncing back and forth. So we really need to see some sort of conviction, whether it be a reversal from this level, a strong reversal, and then we could just look for short-term bearish movement on DXY back down towards 96.5, or we want to see a break of this 97.7 handle. So right now it's looking more bullish than anything else. So I'm going to say it's going to break. This 200 EMA is there as well. It's definitely looking like it's more bullish, especially on this time frame too. So especially from recent price action. So let's say it does pop up. We want to see a push up significantly above this 97.7 handle, pull back, confirm a higher low, and then continue higher. This would be great for a lot of reasons because it resumes the overall trend, which is bullish, in the higher time frames. It also gives us a chance to, see some other structure forming on other pairs, because now we have some conviction coming into DXY. Now we have a clear direction, and we can start making trades and forecasts, accordingly. So again, this is trade path 1, right? This is definitely looking, most likely right now, a little break higher, pull back for a higher low, and then continuation. If we do get a rejection from 97.7, we're just looking for, it to fall back down to 96.5 potentially, or even tighter consolidation in this little area right here before we see a major move. So yeah, it's definitely looking pretty good right now. Forming, it's pretty easy to read at this moment. We have clear ranging. It's looking like we have these clear zones where we're just waiting for either a break or a rejection from. So it's looking pretty good right now. Let's move on to AU. Okay, this is moving pretty nice. Let me go to the daily for a second. Okay, has anything changed in the daily since our last analysis, right? Very, very bearish, clearly a bearish trend. We got some Corona news here. This is our last lower high before the drop. Price action came all the way back on a strong 4-hour bullish trend to match our prior daily lower high at this monthly zone. So we're still bearish. Nothing here suggests that this has broken the monthly. We're now definitely confirmed, long on this time frame. That hasn't happened yet. We're still very much bearish until we see something, a little more from this daily time frame. So let's go ahead and drop to the 4-hour, and we can see this whole pullback here. Very strong 4-hour trend, right after Corona, pulled back very, very strongly, all the way up to this monthly. Good sign, shows there's good volume from the bulls there. But now, once we hit this monthly, we saw pretty big rejection, right? So look, massive rejection right here in the form of a double top, huge wicks, tons of exhaustion, and then it pulled back through, breaking through. the MAs, certain structure levels, and then tested those levels as resistance. So this is definitely bearish, right? Because these are lower highs. These are lower highs here after this massive double top. But how can we get into a potential entry at the current level, right? We see that this is, this was a little bit of an ascending channel. It kind of broke out of it, broke to the downside. And now we have a, kind of a lower volume descending channel right here. I ideally wanted to see this 38.2 level hit followed by strong bearish setups, and that would have been a really great entry, especially with this little structure level here at 0.69. So this arrow I drew last night for my own analysis, and I saw that this was breaking out. So I wanted to get to 38.2, and it was so close. We were literally like 5 pips off, and then this engulfing formed. Now this still could, very well pull back. And again, that would be ideal. We want to see it hit this structure level up here and confirm it, right? So we want to see price action push up, show some exhaustion, show some rejection in the form of a, an evening star, bearish engulfing, bearish variation, something in this area that's going to say, the bears are still here. We're going to get a, continuation to the downside. So right now I'm kind of waiting on that. I want to see this pop up and then reject heavily. And then we're going to target down towards our next major support, 0.675. And this is looking like a pretty good trade. I mean, we're going to be risking 50 pip stop loss, aiming to get 175. It's looking like a 3.5 risk to reward. And this is just a waiting game at this point. It's looking really, really good though. I like everything that I'm seeing. Massive rejection from this level, definitely playing into the trend. We're getting lower highs. We're getting strong bearish setups, at the current level. So it's looking good. We just want to see that one last push, followed by those setups, and then we can enter. So that's AU. Let's move on to AJ. This one's interesting because we were actually expecting a short, and I'll get to that in a second. So let's go to the daily time frame. Has anything changed? Right? Very, very bearish, clear bearish trend. Right, here's the prior lower high before the Corona dump. Then we see this huge 4-hour pullback, back up to the monthly. So we're still very much bearish, right? This high here just came up, hit the monthly, lined up with this prior lower high, and then dropped a little bit. So we're still very much bearish. Nothing here has changed. We haven't had that, daily transition from a break of this monthly level. Hasn't happened yet. So we're still bearish on the daily. Let's drop to a 4-hour. Right, here's that 4-hour bullish trend. Very, very strong. Very, very strong trend. And then it pushed price action all up to this monthly, like we said, right around the 96 handle, 96.5. And then we saw this giant head and shoulders. So a lot of you guys should recognize this. This was a trade that we put out. We entered on the right shoulder, targeted down towards this upper trend line of this daily descending channel. And it played out really good. So that was like 200 something pips. And now we've been seeing a lot of consolidation recently. So let's go ahead and expand this and get into, potential opportunities here. So we actually thought this was going to short. I put out a short opportunity, a short trade in the signal room after this pullback. So this looked like a transition to me. This was nice support. It finally broke. It rejected here as resistance, came back up, rejected again, and then we entered over here, right? So we actually saw a little bit of profit, but then it pulled back. Didn't have the conviction needed to get down to this, lower part of the range around 72.6. So it actually pulled back through, broke through resistance, and now is testing and looking like it's forming a higher low on like a 1-hour time frame. You guys can see that this is a higher low, right? Lower low here, higher low here. Good rejection of support there around 73.8. So this could be potentially a really good trade. We just need a few more confirmations at the current level. I like how the MAs are holding it, but we need a few more confirmations in a lower time frame, and then we could target towards the top of the range around 94.65. So let me drop to the 1 hour for a second. I'm going to show you guys what this is looking like. So again, right, higher low, clearly it broke through the 200 EMA, broke through resistance here. Massive rejection, which is a great sign, tons of exhaustion. And yeah, it's looking more bullish on this time frame again, because we broke through resistance, broke significantly, coming back for that retest, and now we're looking to get in on bullish setups. And it's honestly, this is damn close. I'm going to put this out probably right after I pass this off to Angelo. I'm going to put this into the premium signals for you guys, the analysis first before this executes. Because look, this is giving us some nice bullish variations, 3 candles in a row, nice exhaustion, huge wicks, good convictions looking like. So this could be a really great trade, and this will be 35 pips, risking 35 pips to get 70. So a nice 2-0 risk reward, 2-to-1 risk reward. And this could be a really great trade. Let's go back to the 4 hours, see if it makes sense. Right, playing to the top of the range on these 1-hour setups. Perfect. pretty textbook. So guys, here's a great lesson too. I said I was short, right? We shorted here. We actually closed as this 1 hour structure was breaking. And then I just flipped my bias because like we saw that the bulls were stepping into the market, that there's more bulls, more, there's now a bullish setup. There's now a long setup presenting itself at this area. So, I didn't marry this trade. I'm not all like upset that my short didn't work out. We managed the trade, we cut losses. I'm not trying to marry a certain position in this trade, in this pair. So we're just here to analyze and we trade what we see. And right now we're seeing a bullish transition on a 1 hour, looking to make a play up to the next major resistance around 74.65. Okay, so that's AJ. Looking pretty good. Next, we got EU. First thing we do, jump to the daily. Has anything changed? We are still significantly bearish, huge bearish channel, crazy volume. And then this is the Corona spike, right? Wicked all the way up to 1.15. This is still basically bearish. This is a lower high here. We did break through this lower high, technically. It erased it. But, if you just zoom out, I would say this is bearish until I see this monthly break. Because this is such a steep trend. There are so many levels, lower high here, lower high here, here. So many freaking levels that could, keep this lower, especially all in here. Could keep price action. You could see a reversal from anywhere in here below the 1.15 handle this monthly. But, I would definitely change my daily sentiment to bullish if I saw a break of this monthly, then a higher low form or something. But for now, bearish as hell, I think. Let's go to the 4 hour. Okay, so this is, right, the 4 hour. This was Corona over here. We saw consolidation immediately to follow Corona. And then, as the market priced things in, this kind of skyrocketed and broke this descending channel. At least on, it broke the daily descending channel. Then we saw a very strong 4 hour bullish trend. But now, price action kind of, found its ceiling right around 1.135. We got a little head and shoulders action, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. This was the neckline. So it's definitely in a descending channel again. Pretty good volume too, because like this is a pretty big swing. Almost 200 pips down and then up 150 pips. So it's definitely got some volume, but it doesn't have, a clear direction. It's just a descending channel right now. We're pretty much just, hitting these lows right around 1.11745, and then we're hitting these highs around 1.135. So, what do we need to see to consider an entry? Either long or short. We want to see. So I highlighted this box pattern. We essentially want to see a break of this little box pattern here, a break of the support, or just a break of this overall channel in general. So, right now, to me, it's looking like this. All right, so here we'll do this. So let's say we have this long setup, here. What do we need to see to get into this long setup? We need to see a break of 1.124, right? This little minor level here. And we need to see a confirmed higher low. So essentially, we want to see that form outside of this pattern, outside of this descending channel. So a nice, push higher, pull back, higher low, and then some bullish setups, as this is breaking. That would be good enough to enter on. Plenty confirmations there. And this could be a really good trade. You target back up to this little resistance level here at 1.135. So it's like 110 pips, risking 40. It's looking like a 2.68, 2.7 risk to reward, which is really good. It's going to be a really great trade. So again, you'd be risking 1% to get, 2.7%. Great trade. We're just waiting on these confirmations, honestly. But I think the short setup is even more clear because if you break this floor here, if we break this support around 1.11745, this handle right here, if we break this and then get a lower high, this is so clear. It's so textbook. It's a nice break of support, test the resistance, enter on a lower high in, this little 4 hour channel. So this could be a really, really clear trade. But again, we just want to wait. We're not going to make any predictions. We're just going to follow what the market's telling us. And, we're just trading what we see. So whatever happens, we're ready for it. Waiting for a break to the upside, break to the downside. We'll be there to capitalize on it. All right, so that's EU. Next, I got EJ in gold. EJ is looking really good right now. I'm actually excited to show you guys this one. All right, real quick, let's go to the daily. Bearish as hell, right? There's no contesting that. Super strong bearish channel. Are we still bearish on near recent price action? Yes, we are. 123.4, huge resistance area. Got some lower highs in this area, lower highs over here. I would consider this a test. This did not break the zone. This is just a test of these prior lower highs. This whole zone is just a test. If it did break a little higher, if price action closed a little closer to 125, I would consider that a definite break of this zone and of these lower highs, and could be hinting at a higher time frame transition to the upside. But we didn't see that. Instead, we saw massive ass rejection from this zone. So we're bearish. So we can drop down to the 4 hour for a second. Get closer to more recent price action, see what's going on. Very strong 4 hour bullish trend. Here was that rejection, very strong rejection. And this is an exaggerated head and shoulders. I know I've pointed this out a couple times. Left shoulder here, here's the head, here's the right shoulder. And this neckline is essentially 121.5. And, it did give us a pretty good signal, a pretty good reversal signal. We have tested resistance again after this break. So this is good. Definitely was a decent pattern. It didn't get as low as I thought it would. But that's all right. So it came push all the way down to this next major support level. Big confluence area here. We have some upper trend lines from the daily channel. 200-year MA is here. Again, this support level 119.5. And then price action pushed to that and then reversed. And then kind of went sideways for a little bit. And then we saw a break of this descending channel. Right on this 4 hour, we saw a nice push. Broke right through. Closed significantly. This was a clean break. It actually hit the 121.5 area and then pulled back. So this is that retest. So we had a break and then a retest. So this is where a potential entry could present itself. And it looks like it's doing that exactly. So we're getting some exhaustion off this level. Looks like a higher lows forming potentially right around 120.5. So let me drop to the 1 hour because this is pretty close to executing. And pretty much what we're looking for here is a break of this minor level. Let me go ahead and highlight this. Point this out to you guys. Essentially, we're waiting on this break because this is a minor level. Again, this is like a 1 hour level, 30-minute level. Here's that rejection. This would be the higher low. If this level breaks, it would confirm this higher low. So we're looking to get above. If I see any candle closure in the next 30 minutes, in the next hour, if I see candle closure above 120.9, and especially if we get an MA cross, probably going to put out a trade. That's a pretty textbook entry. We have a lot of things lining up that's suggesting that this will continue higher. It's looking good so far. So what would this look like, this trade? Risking about 100 pips to get, 270. It's pretty damn, it'll be close to that, the trade itself. So 2.7 risk to reward. Really, really great trade. Risking 1% to get 2.7. This could be pretty massive. So we're just waiting on a few confirmations here on EJ. But yeah, it's looking good. Nice clean break. We did get a little M pattern, a little double top, pulled back. But again, we're just waiting for those final confirmations, breaking through 120.9.
Little double top.
And those MAs, right? We're just waiting.
Waiting on the moving average cross, baby.
Patience pays, guys. Look for that structure. Finally, we got gold, which is like my baby at this point. So let's go ahead and zoom out. Super bullish. Try and tell me that's bearish. Like, come on. Super bullish. So, we could just drop straight to the 4 hour because this thing's been bullish for a minute. Let's zoom out. Just kind of identify the important levels first. Two most important levels, right? This monthly right here, acting as extreme support, tested multiple times. So this area is pretty solidified as support, looking good so far. The next level is this 1800 zone pretty much entirely, which is where we're at now. Major resistance, but also RTP, right? So we want to see it push a little bit higher, break this zone, fine. We would love to see that. But essentially this is, we're at or near our next major level of resistance. So we need to see some big moves happen to continue this trade. So real quick, we saw rejection off this monthly. We saw a trade opportunity after this symmetrical triangle formed. It broke, tons of confluence in this area. We got an MA cross, multiple higher lows, overall bullish sentiment, break of this structure level, and then nice, strong bullish variations. Perfect entry around 1730. Again, we've been targeting 1800 for a minute now because this is just a nice whole number. It's our next major level. So yeah, it's looking like it's going to get there. Again, real quick, gold is a safe haven commodity. It will typically always appreciate over time. You just got to find areas to capitalize on, like, trades like this. We got in at 1730. It pretty much skyrocketed. It broke through this little level of resistance, established it as support on the back side of these candles here, after wicking it and rejecting. So looking pretty good so far. Right now we're consolidating again. There is no real entry on this. If you miss this entry over here, you kind of missed it, and that's, you got to wait for a pullback. But there may not even be a pullback on this. Who knows? We got to see. It's looking very, very strong right now. But an entry opportunity would be if it pulled back to the 61.8 handle, so right here, or potentially even lower. If it came back and tested this would obviously be the most ideal entry, right around 1745. And then, of course, you want to enter on like some sort of bullish variation, and then target back towards 1800, right? But for now, this was a pretty good trade. Risking 200 to get about, what is this, 680 pips, something like that. So we're looking at 3.45 risk reward. Really crazy trade. But guys, we'll keep you updated on this as well. But yeah, this is mid trade. There's no real entry right now. But I mean, we have been stalking this. We've been putting out tons of analysis on gold, making you guys aware, and we'll continue to do so. So we'll just wait on this one. Maybe it'll show us something. Maybe it'll give us an entry opportunity. But for now, guys, that's been my few pairs here. Quick recap. DXY, which looks like it's rejecting at this level, actually. Could see some downward momentum stepping in soon. SDXY, AU, AJ, look, this thing's going. EU, EU here, EJ, and gold. All right, so now Angela's going to get into more of the majors and give you guys some winning setups.
Oh, yeah. All right, so let's get into it. Let's see. Let me share up. So again, everybody that joined in the middle of that, hope you guys are doing good. Nick just went over everything, went over. Again, this is recorded as always. Let's take a look. Boom. So we got NU coming back right now. Let's go over this first. I had been in a trade for NU, but I moved stops to break even. So I just want to make sure everything is closed on these trades. Cool. All right, so NU, let's bump up. This thing has been fucking around so much the last week or so, this pair. I do believe a move is coming. I will look for another entry right now as we're pulling back kind of through these moving averages. But let's just get on the weekly and see what I'm talking about. So on this weekly time frame, we are overall very bearish in the sense that we made this lower low, pulled back, made this lower high. Now we made this low, pulled back. I was looking for something similar to this to happen, but as you can see, we're getting, we're pausing at this monthly level. This level has so much potential, so many orders, so much liquidity in this area based on previously how prices reacted here. We've got a lot of rejection, fought below in this area with resistance, and also in this area support. So the potential for the move here is huge. But with last week's candle closing with this like gravestone doji candle, basically like really no wick on the bottom, large wick on the top, and just kind of pausing at this point, we could get some sort of pullback to the upside. So what I will do is just start to go down time frames, daily time frame. What are we looking at here? We have most recently this huge bearish, engulfing candle. Then we have this evening star. So this evening star is really what I was focusing on. We got the moving averages to cross. Recently, look how prices were like basically like reacted in the past at this same kind of opportunity. Is we've got the moving averages crossing, a lot of retests and inevitably fall. And the same thing here. Once the moving averages cross, we get a fall off, and then we have this area where there was a lot more consolidation. But as you can see, each time the moving average cross, we got a little bit of a fall off here. So we just need to be patient right now. As I'm highlighting this candle, what I do is I go down to the 1 hour. Now, that's that highlighted candle. 1 hour structure has broken right here. We formed our first lower high right there. That was our first entry opportunity on this, right on that candle. Now we had another pullback, formed another lower high. This is where I had entered on this right here. I came into about 33 pips in profit. and my stops are 30 pips, so I just move myself to break even, kind of just to protect myself. I was going to actually move my, like, just keep my stops wide because I do believe that this is ready to fall. We had this level held for quite some time and broke below, and then we're kind of just pulling back now and looking for that last bit of sellers to send this lower. So, we will see what happens now. We need something. For me personally, unless I kind of enter against my rules, we're going to need something similar to this to happen. We're going to need the moving averages to cross again, and I just use this bars pattern tool. So we're going to need some rejection here, get some bearish engulfing through the moving average, and then I'll look to enter again. So there's nothing wrong with protecting yourself, moving your stop loss. I'd rather do that than be hoping that this respects structure at this point after being up on the account like a considerable amount, considering what I was risking. So NU lower time frame right now, I'm going to just be waiting on this. So I'm going to keep this. I'm not in a trade currently, so I'm going to take this off and I'm going to flip this to orange. This will be something that I drop in the premium analysis section. So right here, boom. This is something that I'll drop in here for the members. But basically, we need to respect, at least on this 1 hour time frame, this level. So we're looking for something similar to this to happen right here. Come up, retest, get some rejection, and then pretty much head lower. So that's what we're looking for with NU. Let's bump up to GU, which is interesting. I've been talking about GU with, hold on one second. I've been talking about GU with a member at this daily level. Why? Because this daily level, let's bump up to the weekly. All the way up on the weekly time frame, we're overall, very bearish in the sense that we're below the 200-day. We're bearish structure, lower lows and lower highs here, lower low here. And again, we talk about structure a lot. We'll try to do mini lessons in these live sessions, but mainly if you're a member, we'll get into, obviously in the videos, but also in one-on-ones on how we really categorize structure. But if you pay attention, I do go over it a bunch in these free live sessions too. So let's continue. On this weekly time frame, we had price reject this monthly level. Last week formed this huge exhaustion, maintained below these moving averages, but really no volume to the downside, showing some signs of slowing up. So as I get down to the daily, I mark this daily level based on support here, a little bit of indecision here, support here, resistance here, support here. So I'm expecting volume to kick in right now. That's what I'm expecting. Structure, structure-wise on the 4 hour, we are very bearish in the sense that we had this lower low form, lower high form. This is where we had got in on in the signals. This was a huge move. This was that 4 hour move, ended up being a total of 220 pips. So this was a big move that happened. Now we're looking for that next lower high. We're looking for the next lower high. I can take off the fibs there. We can see there's a lot of confluence up near this area. Our first level that we're really looking to retest, at least on this time frame as we make a move higher, is like right in this area. So that's where I'm kind of looking for price to come back to. So as I continue to cycle down now, the 4 hours bearish, the weekly time frame is bearish, the daily time frame is bullish until this breaks. That's why this is significant. We're just trending on the 4 hours. So that's why I'm watching the 4 hour right now. We're just trending lower lows and lower highs. And then inevitably we might get to that daily level of structure considering how much momentum is going on right now. So on the 1 hour though, within that 4 hour trend, we can see lower low, lower high here, retest of the low, another lower high formed, lower low, lower high. Then we had this, boom, lower low, pulled back, made this lower high right there. And if you were very aggressive and you wanted to test this level, you potentially could have exited. This is according to our rules, but I personally just wouldn't have entered right into this support level. You know what I'm saying? Right into this support level. I would have waited to see how it broke lower, because as you can see now it's pulling back. So pretty much what we're going to look for with this, as we try to get as this starts to get bullish, maybe gets up into this upper level, I am looking for this to potentially break and retest. I will not short this unless at this point now we get something very similar to this. If we break below this daily zone and then we get some structure, like if we break below this level, let me just even this out a little bit, or boom. So if we break below this level of support that had formed right here, get a little bit of retest, then we'll go short. On the flip side, if it breaks on the 1 hour, starts to retest here and form a higher low, then I will look to get long into that daily level that we talked about, or actually the 4 hour. So let's go to the 4 hour. So this little 4 hour level that I was talking about, that inevitably would be retested first. We'll look to long first into that area right there. So I'm looking at the 1 hour. Overall momentum is very bearish. If I were to bring on trend line, boom, we're retesting a significant level right now on this, at least on this 1 hour time frame. So I need to wait. I need to see how this 1 hour plays out. So that means this one, GU, I'm going to change to orange. I'm going to wait probably like 2 hours or so on this before making any sorts of decision. So with that in mind, let's bump over to UCAD. And again, Nick went over DXY. What is DXY doing right now? It's pulling back. Yeah, it's on the daily time frame. We are, we broke this level of support. Now we're at this low. Ultimately, though, what I'm looking at is the weekly. We're at a low point. This is a potential higher low point. To head higher, a lot of exhaustion to the downside. All the way on the 4 hour, what's happening? 4 hour shifted structure, made a higher high, made a higher low. Now we're retesting this high. And it really just needs to, it needs to break above this level. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the level it really needs to break above. 200 days right there. So this is expected that it's going to show some resistance. We just need this to maintain structure at the end of the day. We need this to maintain really this 1 hour level down here. It really needs to maintain that to continue to trend on this 1 hour time frame. So back to UCAD, let's just go up to the weekly. And it's like, this has been here for a while, this weekly trend line, or this weekly, forecasting. So basically we had formed this high, came back, potential higher low, grabbed a lot of orders down in this daily level. Now we're coming up. We just popped above this monthly level of resistance, which is definitely major. As I bump down to the daily, overall the daily is still bearish. So the structure isn't too clear on this time frame. So that's why I'm using the 4 hour right now to really look at things. And on the 4 hour time frame, like I said, as I kind of look at what's going on, I'm gonna just take this off. 4 hour time frame, form this lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high is here, boom. And then as you can see, another lower high formed. We came back, moving averages crossed, came back through. This is a nice level of resistance that formed another structure point. And then we broke lower. Now we just broke higher. We just broke structure on this 4 hour time frame. Kind of going along now with that weekly trend. We're above the monthly support level. So a lot of buyers are in the market right now. What am I looking for, though? I'm not looking to personally enter at these highs. This market is really just consolidating over and over again. Say we were to have used entries in this area. We could have entered here, could have entered on this push, would have to put stops down here, would have the target up here, or we could have entered right here. This would have been an entry. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then in this area, where would entries have been here? Could have entered right there. We could have entered right there. It's all in the moving average cross. That's where I'm looking to enter, because those make higher lows for me. But again, I'm trying to personally confirm this 4 hour first. I want this to pull back. As this pulls back, it's going to be very easy to catch a position on this. So it's like, as these levels break, I'll try to catch a position. if it comes back down here to this support level again and like shows some resistance, just because I've been testing recently, and as this rejects and then kind of does this higher low, the same thing here, rejects, then it does this higher low, I would potentially take some sort of like intraday moves here, but we'll see. I'm really just expecting on the 4 hour this to pull back a little bit more, so I'm going to keep this on red. That means we're on the higher time frame. Let's go over to USEF. So USEF is, I'm more than glad to go over this pair right now. On the weekly time frame, we have an overall bearish trend. We broke support, made a new low, pulled back, moving averages crossed. This confirmed on the weekly that that was a lower high. Now to the daily time frame, overall we are bearish in the sense that made this low, made this lower high right here with this cross, came back again, made another lower high, made another lower high. So on the daily, this is my daily structure right here. Until that is broken, unless something else forms, until this is broken, I am bearish on this daily time frame. As I go down to the 4 hour though, I can see on the 4 hour that we were bearish in the sense that, let's start up here, this low, this lower high, this low, retest of the low, this minor lower high here. Then we had this low, this lower high, this low, this lower high, this low. And then inevitably we started to make another lower high right here when all of this started to cross over. And then we made a lower point down here. So we made a higher low, or lower high, I'm sorry, right here. We crossed, pulled back here through the moving average. Then we had another cross. So this just broke for me. This level just broke. We are actually pulling back right now into a support level, which is good. I'm going to delete that forecast, and we're going to take off these fibs and basically, actually, let's see. So yeah, that's those 4 hour fibs that I'm on. And at this point, what am I looking for on the 30 minute? Is on the 30 minute, we need a lot more to happen, guys, before we enter this. The 30 minute just broke support right here, just broke structure. We are going to need a lot more structure to form before I consider any type of entry, even if it goes through the moving average. Like, I need, at this point, the 30 minutes in a downtrend, I'm going to need the 30 minute to go from a downtrend all the way to an uptrend. So it's going to have to look something similar to this. We're going to have to form a lower high, come back down, and then we're going to have to come up, break, retest, and this is where, right here is going to be where I try to enter. So that's the projection on USEF. We're going to bump this down to lower time frame. Again, all lower time frame analysis will be posted in this premium analysis section. If you guys want in on that, it's only $7, just one-time fee. That kind of builds on these live sessions a little bit and gives you more access to our analysis. So let's go to UCAD. We went over. We're going to stick on that. Let's bump over to UJ. Up on this weekly time frame. UJ is overall very bearish in the sense that we broke this low, made this lower low, made this lower high right here, cross. Now we're pulling back. Just real quick, like what I like to do on the weekly. Hold on one second. What I like to do on the weekly time frame is just do some candlestick analysis. So we're at a level of support, weekly support. We just formed last week, this kind of reversal candle, bullish. So those are kind of two confirmations that we could be pulling back. Daily time frame, what are we looking at? Overall, we're bearish. We made this lower high right here, pulled back, made this lower high right here. So now, we're pulling back on the daily time frame. We are still overall bearish. But this time frame can't help me out right now. I need to get to another time frame that can. And this is what I've been waiting for on UJ, guys. This was definitely a buying opportunity, a little aggressive for me. And I don't trade UJ as much, so I didn't take this. But basically, I've been waiting for this 4 hour to break to really confirm that we can start to take longs into daily resistance levels. So the 4 hour had a little bit of a break here. And then this right here happened where we came back up to start the week, actually. We came up, didn't exactly close the bearish engulfing, and then we had this bullish candle. This was enough to tell us that this level was broken. And then as I came down to the 1 hour, because I never really do the 30-minute for UJ at least, the 1 hour, we can clearly look at structure, and we can say that structure right here was broken, made this higher high, pulled back. This was a higher low, and then this was another higher low. We got that cross. This was, so these were two potential entries on UJ, and I was hawking this, but I just didn't pull the trigger again because I was in another trade, and I just don't trade UJ as much. I wanted to wait for this 4 hour to break to really trend. But this would have been a great trade. I mean, would have been stops would have been around 30 pips. We went in, 2-1 on that one. And then if we were in this order, stops would have been around like 38 pips. We would have been up. Could have closed at around 70. So these were two great trades. Now what I'm looking for is just that next higher low. So we need a pullback, and then we need something very similar to this to happen. So I need pullback, and then that nice transition like I just highlighted on the other chart. We need some sort of pullback here, some sort of little resistance forms, break, and then that's where inevitably we're going to enter on that transition, nice and clean, just using price action. You know what I'm saying? That's the game right there. All right, so that's UJ. I just want to bump back to GU real quick. So GU testing this 1 hour level. You know what I'm saying? We'll see what happens there. GU correlates very nicely with GJ. So let's take a look at GJ. And this was a analysis I put on GJ like Sunday, and you could see what's going on. So I wanted the pullback. Now we came back, momentum shifted again. Now we're getting another pullback. So I'm looking at GJ as trying to short. I'm trying to short GJ. On the weekly time frame, let's bump up. Weekly time frame overall, we're bearish. We're at this level, made this gravestone doji type candle, might show signs of reversal, but I'm just looking at 1 hour structure. First 4 hour structure, 4 hours bearish, made this lower low, made this lower high, boom. Right here, then we're retesting. We need a break lower, but look at the previous candles right here. Bearish engulfing, evening star. So a lot of bearish momentum still. As I get to the 1 hour, let's look at the 1 hour structure. We had this level break, and then we're just looking to enter on lower highs. Get a double top, lower high right there. So this could potentially be a trade that I personally look to get in right now, honestly. So look out for GJ. I'm going to probably post something on that. And we put out a trade last week on GJ that went into some wicked profit. So I'm trying to see right now at the moment, we got 10 minutes left. So at this point, since we're a little bit late, I'm just going to wait to see how this 1 hour candle closes because I inevitably could have entered on this and my stops would have been pretty much like above this level, around 70 pips or so. But now that we're late, we have more data to look at, price continued on. So we can wait and see how this plays out pretty much right there. And, we can make a decision pretty much based on that. Obviously this market is trending very bearish. We don't really use trend lines at all because I don't even.
No, I would just put a block pattern
on the
around that.
weekly. I have found some success with trend lines, but not on these lower time frames.
No, it's just like a little rectangle.
Yeah. So, right now we're rejecting this pretty well, which is definitely a good sign on GJ. So let's kind of just size this up. What would we target? We would short, obviously, right here. Stops would be on the lower time frame. I would target this -27. This is also a daily level. Let's just go back to the 1 hour. So again, we're going to wait for this 1 hour to close. I could even be patient enough to wait for the following candle. But there's nothing wrong with doing that at this point. And I'll update this in the chat. So DJ, I'm going to move up to orange. So I've got my playlist for today. Orange list is all trades I'm looking at to go to, enter on. Red list is higher time frame. Purple is trades that I'm in, and DXY because I'm always watching DXY. So we will wait and see if I add any to the purple list for today. So that is pretty much our live session. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about, we're going to have an announcement about signals. We're going to be doing something new with signals. So look out for that. There's really no promotions going on at the moment, so you guys should just be active in the Discord. It's all free. The analysis in here is all higher time frame. If you do want that lower time frame analysis, it's just $7. Again, one-time fee. And as always, this will be uploaded to YouTube in a little bit.
Yep. So guys, that's our first live session of the week. Happy Tuesday. Yeah, again, just stay active in the Discord. Be aware we're posting, new analyses right after this, posting updates, potential signals today. So stay active, guys. Keep trading, and we'll see you around. Thanks for joining in.
Oh yeah, we did cover EU, so you can just look in the replay. Hope you guys have a good day. We'll catch you tomorrow, same time, 9 a.m.